And welcome to another episode of A Talk of Opportunity, a podcast about everything tabletop, specializing in Dungeons and Dragons 5e. This is Jose, your host, and with me, as usual, the second host, my co-founder, my partner in crime, Andrew Brickman.
Hi.
Andrew,
Hi.
there you go.
Are we whispering?
Yeah, we're whispering. The FBI has been after us recently.
Okay.
Actually, Wizards of the Coast have been after us recently. We've been saying some things that they don't agree with.
This episode's not gonna help that.
It's not. Because today we're talking about one of the things that
Release a high-level adventure, you coward!
Yeah! Give us Spelljammer! We don't want another Magic the Gathering setting.
Wait a minute, is that a helicopter?
They have a special force to take us down. When did this start?
But I cast taser. Ah!
Yeah, they have to say that.
It's like witch bolt on the side of the taser gun. Ah!
And if I throw something at the guy, another one of the police is like, did he lose concentration? Roll for concentration.
Wait. And then like one guy's like,
but while he's rolling, I'm still being taken. It's like, no. Let him roll. It's only fair.
Losing your motor functions and emptying your bowels. Crap.
Wait, no. That didn't hit the table. That was on the floor. It doesn't count.
No, gotta re-roll it. Ooh, natural 20. That means I get to commit police brutality.
No, it pulls another one. Double teeth.
It's like one's in your eye, one's in the other eye.
Whoa, dude! I'm pretty sure that was double his hit points. He's probably dead.
Yeah, we took out that CR-18 commoner. Then they high five each other. And Teresa's like, "What the fuck just happened?"
We messed with the wrong people, Teresa. You have to run. There's a bag. There's a bag under the D&D books. Take it or leave.
Go bag. Yeah. There's a go bag, and it's just like a bunch of dice. Like, God damn it, this isn't helping me.
This is useless.
A bunch of dice, and like a third of a bag of Doritos. It's like long since gone stale.
Oh wow, yes, we're talking about the things that we don't like. 5e and our pet peeves. Now let's roll the music.
Quantico.
So after that brutal assault by the orc warrior, the initiative now goes to you. Jose, what do you do?
I'm gonna cast Andrew.
Yay. That's me.
Well, we were talking about
so we're talking about things today that grind our gears. But speaking of grinding, let's talk about the grinds that we had this month. I'm talking about coffee.
They're talking about another type of grinding. Like that. Where is this going, Andrew?
It only goes down from there.
Yeah.
Like there's only two other types of grind I could think of.
Yeah, no, we don't like either of those. Dude, apparently my stream is grinding a 905 and grinding on your ass. Anyways.
Oh. Well, I was never mind.
Where were you going? No.
Nothing.
What are you drinking today, Andrew?
Today I'm drinking a cold brew of PT's Coffee Roasting Company, Floored
that's a nice packaging.
Soul. I know, ain't it?
Yeah. This smells good.
This is a light roast from Topeka, Kansas, and it has notes of cocoa powder, raisin, and sweet lemon. And let me tell you right now, I could definitely taste the raisin and cocoa powder, but not so much the sweet lemon. That might be
the lemon
might be a hot coffee thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't associate lemon with coffee. That's interesting.
Usually, if you with these lighter roasts, especially if you do a pour over, because that gets rid of a lot of the acid, you kind of get more of those like floral and berry notes and stuff. So, but I can definitely taste the raisins, like the very first thing.
Is it good though? I'm not a big fan of raisins.
No, it's good. It works really well, especially with a cold coffee, because it's not like raisin bran raisins. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
that kind of like aftertaste of raisins. You know what I'm talking about?
Like the
that
sweetness
sort
that's left behind.
yeah, that sort of like semi-sweet kind
Oh,
of,
okay.
and then you get like a little bit of the cocoa powder just sort of like sprinkled in there. But I'm not really getting any of the lemon. That might just be me though.
Maybe you need to grab a lemon and just spritz it in there.
Or like I said, it might be a hot coffee thing, because a lot of depending on how you make it is how it like how you get some of the flavors.
Oh,
So,
okay, that's interesting. By the way, we have 5 years. Thank you for joining us today. We're talking about our pet peeves, as the title says. But before we get there, we get to talk about our drinks. We recently stopped drinking beer because apparently it made us really sleepy.
yeah, we actually, it's weird. We found out that if we took a depressant before we started recording, it made us worse if we took something that kept us alert and focused.
Well, that's a mystery for somebody else to figure out.
And and Teresa says to the point of like, I'm glad you guys have entered the rehab portion of your podcast.
Yeah, everybody's been very supportive, including Heather. She's like, I can get behind that.
Yeah. So just put a little another X on my calendar, and I'm sitting here holding my fake 10-day AA thing.
It's only 10 days.
Well, no, I think they have one for 1 day, 10 days.
Oh, really? I thought it was.
days.
I thought it was like 6 months and a year.
I could be wrong, but I know they do something like give you like reminders of like how long it's been and stuff. And I want to say one's like 10 days or something like that, or like a week or something.
I can see that for like a week maybe, just to get you like
Yeah.
rolling. I'm drinking one of my favorite teas. It's a jasmine yin hao green tea. It's actually one of the most popular ones from China. Apparently they drink it all the time. But this one has a jasmine infusion to it. It makes it very floral and sweet. I love it.
Now what is the jasmine yin hao? Is that like the green tea that
Right. So
commonly associated with?
No. So yin hao is, from my understanding, it's a part of China, and that's where the leaves are coming from. Jasmine is just the flavoring they put into it as well. So it's primarily a green tea with jasmine. So you get, if you ever smell anything that smells like jasmine, like that, the scent
like
of
the
it.
flower.
The flower, yeah. It's like straight up just jasmine. I'm
Okay.
not a big fan of jasmine, like when it's like in cleaning products and stuff like that. But in this tea, it just makes it so sweet without being. I don't like to add a little sugar on my tea, so it's like that perfect balance. So it's not too bitter.
Do you add sugar, like just like a little bit?
Just a little bit.
Just to make the flavors pop.
Yeah. And I use sugar in the raw instead of white sugar, because the white sugar for some reason dulls the flavor. It's weird. Sugar in the raw still has that molasses in it. It makes it a little bit more like almost a Latino. So no white sugar.
Sometimes I use a little bit of sugar in coffee, like hot black coffee, like just like you said, just to kind of make it like because there's a very specific balance. If you add just a nice little bit of sugar, you're like, oh hey, it kind of brings out some flavors. But if you add just a little bit more than that, like one single granule turns to syrup, and it's just like
yes, exactly. And it's funny because like I have friends that we have, when they come over, I give them tea, and they don't like to have sugar or any sweetener, not even like honey on it. And I'm like, oh, I respect that. That's great. I like a little bit, but Kristen is just like spoon 1, spoon 2, spoon 3, spoon 4.
That's how Teresa is very much I like to have coffee with my creamer.
Yeah. Yeah, when Kristen makes coffee, it's like dessert. It's just like all the flavors except for coffee.
Exactly. Yeah, the whipped cream, chocolate shaving. I mean, I get it, but it's just like I what's it? Someone at my job was like, "Oh, I had this coffee one time and it was really bad. It was like, it wasn't mocha at all and stuff." I'm like, "Well, what was it?" And she's like, "It was like some mocha cold brew or something." I'm like, "What are you talking about? That sounds delicious." And she's like, "But it was all bitter." I'm like, "Yeah, it's cold brew. It's just cold black coffee. That's all it is."
Hey, Jonathan Rubio, thank you for sharing the stream and welcome.
If you like tea, you might like cold brew.
I like actually, I love cold brew.
Yeah,
I'm just not a big coffee drinker, but whenever we go somewhere, like I took you to Foxtail.
Yeah,
I always get the cold brew. I love it.
Yeah, cold brew is great. I love it, especially because it's so low in acid. It doesn't upset my stomach. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why pour overs are also really good for getting rid of acid. If you see that foam on the top, that's actually the acid escaping the coffee. So ironically, the highest form of like keeping acid in coffee is like the irregular like Americano drip pot. Like that keeps
Just like
all the
water?
acid in there. Yeah.
Huh?
No, I mean like the way that it's like brewed
Yeah.
because it's like sealed in, all that acid stays in there.
Huh?
So yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah, there's a whole science to all this. Yeah, it's actually kind of
What?
interesting.
One day we'll have an episode. Coffee versus tea. The ultimate death match.
I mean, we can.
That's when the talk opportunity breaks up. There's two different game groups. If people's awkward, they can't mention one other DM to the other one. You know, it's like one of those
Yeah.
situations.
Yeah, so I was in a game with Jose. I mean,
My other DM.
how many different ways is there to brew tea? Because I only know like just put the tea in the water.
Well, okay, so the brewing is all the same. It's just different techniques. There is the tea bag. There is the tea bag with loose leaf instead of like the ground up stuff. Fun fact: the ground up stuff is just the leftover in the factory. It's like the stuff that's on the floor. They just and put it in the tea. So it's like literally bottom of the barrel tea.
Oh no!
So if you want tea, like actual good tea, which this is why I started liking tea a lot, you go for loose leaf. You don't go for the baggies that have like the little ground up stuff. But really, all it is just having the proper temperature and proper time. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's like the little pour over thing that I have. This little thing. Boop, boop. There's like this little clamp that you put leaf tips in it, close it, and put it in the water, and then take it out whenever you're ready.
It's like a little ball, right?
Yeah, it's like a little bowl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've had one of those. I've since lost it.
Yeah. It's but all it is there's nothing fancy about it. I think that's what makes unless you go into like the matcha territory, then there's like a whole technique. And we lost all of our viewers. Shit, there's supposed to be D&D podcast.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I got sidetracked. It's just because there's like 20 different ways to make coffee, which is like it's essentially hot water and coffee bean grounds, but anyways.
It's you know what it sounds to me? It sounds to me like people don't like coffee and they're trying to find ways to make it taste better.
No, they don't.
Just saying, the simplicity of a cup of tea is transcendent through time.
Well, enjoy your hot leaf juice.
It's delicious. All right, so let's talk about why people came to see us. The only reason we're here to complain and bitch about everything. Oh wait, no, that's just my character Octavia.
Well, you better get in character because we're gonna be bitching and complaining.
Hold on. Let me send the link to Wizards of the Coast real quick. I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
Dear
with
Matt,
the subject matter, friendly critiques.
Friendly critiques. They click in it. Fucking Wizards of the Coast.
You cowards!
All right, so Andrew, we've been playing D&D together for a while now. For me, it's mainly B5e. For you, you've been for a long time, and we always talk about the good things.
But let's just ignore 3.5e because that was all like a fever dream. Now, I only remember the wacky crap.
A fever dream of like your youth. Like, did that really happen?
Because you got to remember, a lot of that happened at like 2 a.m. So it's just like I don't remember a lot of that stuff.
If you go back in time and see it, you guys are just like.
There actually was a session where like I forget who it was, but they're like, "Hey, we should probably end the session because Andrew's sleeping." I was just like,
"Wait, they don't wake you up when it's your turn?"
No, they don't wake me up.
So Andrew, what do you character do? Oh well, he sleeps. All right.
He's taking a short rest. Okay, cool. There was no short rest in 3.5.
Oh yeah.
Rest.
Tell me more about that, old man. Anyways. Back in my day. So yes, we usually, we sing the praises of 5e because it brought so many people into the game and it's making it so awesome and accessible for everybody. But in every session, in every talk we have, even in like the chat window with with the rest of our group and stuff like that, we always like have like this little like things that grinds our gears. Especially you and Howard go back and forth with the whole like, it's like, oh, why is it like, why is it not asking me if my socks are wet? Like that type of stuff. So we made a list of...
You fucking kids got it too easy.
Yeah, that is literally you and Howard. What do you mean there's no taco?
You mean there's not a random encounter table to see if I accidentally swallowed a fly?
You did.
Guys, wait!
Anyway, so we made a list of things that grinds our gears. And how do you want to approach this, Andrew? You just want to go down your list and then down my list, or are we just going to go back and forth?
We can go back and forth. Well, hold on. Who has the bigger list?
You have the bigger list.
About the same size.
You just read a lot more.
Yeah, a lot of it is just like, here's the thing I hate, and here's the justification for it.
I don't have
So-
justifications. I just bitch.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well, you can go ahead and start, old man.
All right. So my first pet peeve, the thing that I really don't like about 5e is whenever there's a warlock as an enemy, whenever I'm like reading like the enemy stats, it's like, oh, they have the following warlock spell prepared, and I'm just like, and the reason why that is because it seems like if you look at the Volo's guide for the warlock enemies and you look at some like NPC warlocks, it's just like they have this whole thing of spells and they can cast 3 of them, and there's really what makes a warlock an interesting character for the player is that, like, yeah, their spells are very limited, but they have invocations to make up for that. But it's like they didn't include the invocations in the NPCs, so it's just like, oh, hey, here's my 3 spell slots, yay, better 5th level. And I mean, don't get me wrong, the Volo's guide one still has some interesting stuff. Like, I think there's like the Fiend can cast, no, not the Fiend. There's one that's like the Archfey can cast like Misty Step at will, and then like the Great Old One does like psychic damage like every round to people that are around it. But still, it's just like, yeah, it's still very underwhelming compared to like what it could potentially be. Like,
Wait, are you talking like for a warlock NPC?
Yeah,
like
an
an enemy?
warlock as an enemy. It's
Okay.
very like, yeah. Whenever I see a warlock as an enemy, like in the adventure, I'm like, all right, let's see how I can juice this up. So it's not like completely like the people walk in the room and just shoot him in the head. Like, okay, that wasn't a threat at all. Because I feel like a warlock should be like, oh no, it's a warlock, ooh, spooky, and it's just like armor of Agathis. That's all I got.
Right. I think that's gonna be a lot of our complaints for this episode because it relates to like pretty much it's like a big old over blanket for 5e. It's the whole like this is really creepy. It's been building up this whole time, and I guess it's mostly for DMs honestly when we were like it's more when you what's it called because they don't the players don't see it, but as a DM and you're like, oh my god, they're building up this enemy, I can't wait for them to meet it, and then you really analyze their table stats and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
This guy's gonna go down in like 2 seconds.
Well, that actually leads in. Do you mind if I use that to segue into another one of my points?
Yeah.
Okay, because that actually leads perfectly into another one of my points, which is where like, oh, the story's like, oh, this evil, feared wizard, he's been murdering people, and he has like a CR4 stat block or some crap like that. And you're like, real? I mean, I know we went over like the CR18 commoner thing, where it's like, yeah, anything above a CR1 is like a serial killer,
right?
But still, it's just like whoa, this malicious like guy, and it's like, okay, one really good round of dice rolls can nuke him.
Yes.
And it's just like, and so then you have like the adventures be like, huh, that wasn't so bad.
But I know this happened to me, not specifically with wizards, but it happened to me way too many times where like, oh man, I'm trying to think because I know one of the ones that comes to my mind right now is the Spider King or whatever from Lost Minds of Fandelbert.
What's his name? Like, yeah, like the Black Spider.
The Black Spider, whatever it was.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, because like the whole we were playing. This is the first. Also, it was the first time I DM, but it was like the whole thing. Like, it's been building up for like, sessions after sessions after sessions, and then they get there and Kristen takes it down in like a really good moveset in like one go, and I'm just like,
That's what you're just like, you know what? Double the HP.
Yeah, it was my first time DMing. I was like, I can't do that. They're gonna know. It's like, no, they don't know. Anyways, but yeah,
there's been some times where I'm like, oh, you do a lot of damage, but not really.
Wow, you do that. You do like, oh
okay.
Man.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna reveal something about the Curse of Strahd campaign now.
Yeah.
So remember
Spoilers.
when you Yeah, you remember when you were first fighting Rahadin in the burning church and
Yeah.
stuff, and he was all like, "Ha ha ha! I'm dodging all your blows." You guys were actually like 3 HP away from killing him. but I was like, I can't show my hand. I have to make him seem like he's invincible.
Oh my god! I remember that fight. We were all so freaking stressed out. We're like, how are we not killing this thing?
and I was like, they are so fucking close.
You're like sweating.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm gonna tell the group because they don't listen to our podcast, so I'm gonna have to tell them.
No, they don't.
They don't. Heather, you're the only one that does. Maybe Robert. I don't know. Robert probably dropped out a couple seasons ago.
That way we don't reveal our secrets. Yeah, he dropped out. I'm like, oh, jeez, another one of these. Okay, whatever.
But yes,
he didn't even make it to the coffee arc when we started talking about coffee.
Is this a coffee arc? Is that what we're gonna call it officially?
I guess so. Yeah, I guess this is our rehab arc.
What's gonna
better? Wait, isn't that for the LGBT? Like it gets better.
Yes, you can't take that. We're just a bunch of losers. We can't do anything about it.
What's the AA one? Oh, never mind. That's like submit yourself to a higher power. Fuck that.
It's like a prayer or some bullshit.
Yeah.
Like a coin. Yeah. But yeah, I have one for you, and I think this one is relatable for the adventure that we just finished. And I wrote it in big old caps, and it's Fetch Quest. And more specifically, and I have a very specific one here because when I say Fetch Quest, the first thing you think about is like MMOs or whatever. It's like, oh, kill this many bears, bring me the skins type situation. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like every campaign we've had so far. Storm King's Thunder. Actually, Tomb of Annihilation didn't have one. Yeah, props to that. Waterdeep, Descent into Avernus. They all had in the middle section of the campaign, of the big old book, because I've always dreaded, it's like a bunch of chapters just describing everything that's around and what the characters have to do, and it's like all scattered, and it's not like, and I don't mean scatter like spatial, like scatter as in like thought, like how do they need this? How are they gonna know that they need to go here? Or are they gonna like relate this with point A and point B type situation? It just leaves it open to the DM, which is a good and a bad thing. A good thing in the sense that, yeah, you can do whatever you want with it. A bad thing in the sense that it's a lot more work for me, and I'm a lazy DM. So, like, and if you remember in Avernus, you guys dread it, and that was, like, the big feedback I got at the end. By the way, if you haven't seen or heard our review of Descent into Avernus, it's on our YouTube channel. We had a roundtable discussion about it. All the players' input came in. I got to reveal stuff to the players. A lot of fun.
Ripped Jose to pieces.
I only cried like 3 times, okay, and I edited that out.
I only cried for 20 minutes after the
video. I edited it out. It's like they're going through the conversation and like it jump cuts and it's me with like running makeup for some reason.
Your eyes are all puffy. Like, oh, what the hell happened?
But it's that big section in the middle, and Storm King's Thunder also had, and I remember it was like, it's just a lot of. And like I always say, maybe for like a more experienced DM, it'll be easier to like convey that information or storytelling wise like better. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it's just like, oh, and even Howard said it's like, oh, we go from point A to point B to point A, then back to B, and then back to C, like back and forth. And it's like there's no connection in there. It just requires Googling, hey, what do you guys have done? Hey, like it's so big. Like I much rather have the structure, like, hey, either do A or B. And follow through this, but like a well thought out by Wizards of the Coast. Because I'm already buying a module. I bought the module because I don't want to build, a brand new. I don't want to build a campaign. That's the whole reason I have a module. So tell me exactly what to do and make it make sense and entertaining for the players. If somebody doesn't like it, they can always upgrade it and change it and do whatever they want.
I feel like the problem with fetch quests is a symptom of a bigger problem, and that is the difficulty of making travel interesting.
Yeah.
Because there's a fine line you have to walk with making travel interesting, to where, yeah, you can just keep rolling on the random encounter table, but after a while, those random encounters start become like, oh my God, can we please just get this over with?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that the blankness or the vagueness in modules it leads into another one of my points, but we'll get there. But I think the big problem with that is that this is 5e. Like there are the whole idea of this is that it's supposed to introduce newcomers. So you probably should have a bit more structure than normal.
Yeah.
Like don't be afraid to railroad the DM.
Right.
In
Right.
that case, you know. And
That's an excellent point. Sorry to interrupt, but that's an excellent point what you just said there. Don't be afraid to railroad the DM, not the players, because the players are never gonna know that they were not supposed to together or whatever. I like that. I like that thought process.
Throw more stuff for the DM because it's like a refining process. Like throw a bunch of stuff at the DM and then he gets to pick and choose. Okay, do I want to include this in my game? Do I not want to? Okay, I can throw that out. Whatever, fine. But that way it at least gives them like, oh hey, I can do this. It gives them the idea that I can take this and then take it out of this campaign and plunk it into like a homebrew or put it into another module altogether. And so that way they now have the idea, hey, this is an acceptable thing I can do in 5e. Yeah. So
exactly. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure there's somebody out there who's listening to us and it's just like, who the hell? I don't want them to like dictate how I run my games, without Kane shaking it at the
and
sky.
That's fine. That's that's when you just ignore it because the players will never know that you ignored those rules.
But the reason modules exist a lot of the times, especially for 5e, like Andrew just said, is that it's a lot of really new DMs and really new groups, and an unexperienced DM can take that middle chunk and make it the most miserable part of the game and have people dropped out.
Yeah.
Luckily, I have players who like stick along with it because they know that like it's leading somewhere. But there's people out there who are just like, this is boring, I'm gonna leave. I want to hit things, those type of people. And I don't know. It's just this is another one of the points that we have written down. It's gonna lead into this too as well. But I just hate that it's always the middle part of the adventure. I don't know if Rime of the Frost Maiden has a part like that. Hopefully not. If it's anything like Tomb of Annihilation, because Tomb of Annihilation exploration was actually pretty fun. I didn't push it as much as I could have because I just want to get people to the cool parts. But it didn't have the middle, like, oh, go here, grab this, talk to this person, go there, And I feel like in Avernus, it was very much that filler arc or the filler episode of like, I know there's a name for it, I just can't think of it, when like the favor episode, you know what I mean? Hey, do me this favor and I'll do you this favor. And then, but you have to go talk to this person, and then you go to that other person, and then you also have to do them a favor, and it becomes like, it was just so like cliche, and it made it so much more worse because on both sides, the demon and the devil pathway, they were both like that, and I hated it. I'm like, oh my god, I don't like this.
I think that might have also had to do with like our current play style at the time, because up until that point we're all like, woo, like action movie, like blah, stuff like that. So then you had this part where it's just like, oh, we have to go literally across the part, and that just, it kind of just stalled the action for us for a bit. So then that high velocity, high octane, like sort of momentum that we were having, it just stalled out. Yeah. So I mean, and that's not like a fault on you. That like that could have been like something. Oh, hey, one of the players like, this is be a good time for a role playing moment. You know, but we never took that. So that's fine. But yeah, I just. Fetch quests are hard, man.
Yeah, hard to make interesting. Because like you said, with the exploration, sometimes, oh man, sometimes there's so many times you can roll on a random encounter table before it starts feeling like filler episodes for an anime. Yeah. It's like, exactly. I know it's the year of the dog. Why do I have to watch another year of the dog episode? That's a reference to Naruto. That's where I dropped out on Naruto.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when it was first started coming out.
The 18th filler arc that they had?
No, it was legit. Like, it was just when like the big ninja school thing first happened. They started having like these really weird episodes, and I started noticing, and that's when I learned that there's such thing as filler episodes. And sure enough, I stopped and I came back to it, and I kid you not, out of like 900 episodes, I think 500 of them were like filler.
Oh my god!
There were so many fillers.
And then that's when you learn you don't make an adaptation until the source material is complete.
Yeah.
Because you never know when that writer's block is gonna hit. And man, did it hit hard.
Oh, all right. So what else? What else you got, Andrew?
So I think that actually leads into what the fetch quest thing leads into another one of my points, and that's sometimes Wizards of the Coast has this weird extreme vagueness in details.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like, oh my god. Okay, so in an adventure, I'm not going to say which. In an adventure, there's a part where it's like, oh, the travel takes 4 days. I'm sorry, what? It takes 4 days. Okay, cool. So what do I do? Do I just like, oh hey, you take 4 rations away and make sure you sleep 4 times, you get 4 times the long rests, or is it just like a slew of random encounters? Like what do I, help me out here?
Yeah.
I paid money for the source material. I paid money for a sentence that says the travel takes 4 days.
I think we can all, every DM can relate to that, because
it took 20 writers to come up with this.
Travel takes 4 days.
But I mean, it's just like, it's just like reiterating the point, like, okay, I get it, but like, this is actually my only second campaign I have under my belt. I do not have the confidence yet to like just come up with bullshit. I need you to guide my hips, Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah.
Okay.
And okay, so, and that's also another thing, like, there's a danger when it comes to stuff like that, because the travel takes 4 days. Mm-hmm. Somebody can be like, okay, each one of those days is going to be this very, go to DM's Guild and download a level 1 or whatever the hell encounter, or what, I don't know, like a small adventure. I'm going to make each one of those a little small adventure. Yeah. It's going to develop each one of the characters are going to have like a payoff at the end of each one of those days, blah, 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 blah. You get really invested, and sure, you start. The first day takes 3 sessions to finish the first day. Second day takes 4 sessions to finish the 4 day. And then you run the danger that at the end of it, the players are going to be like, wait, this had nothing to do with the main story? Yeah. And when you're playing something specific, like Rime of the Frost Maiden, or like Descending to Avernus, people the whole time they're going to be looking for like the clues, the things, what is causing this, what is causing that. And then you're like, okay, and then let's say you're also very successful, right? You're like, yeah, those 4 days were packed. It took us half a year to get through it. Awesome. You get to your destination. Because let's be honest, if you're like adults like we are, and we have jobs and whatever, we play once a week, and that's a lot for a lot of people. You know, we're not in high school and live in the same area that we can just play every night. So half a year, you get there, you get to the city. You talk to the one NPC, and then you have to go somewhere else, and it takes 8 days to get there.
Hey, yeah, sorry. No, hold on. That package didn't get here yet. Can you actually go back to the place you came from and pick it up for me, and then bring it back? And you're just like, fuck me.
So at the end, you end up in the same place that you started at, and now with even less content, because let's say that you actually managed to have a payoff for each one of those characters, and you're just like, oh, shit.
Or even worse, it's like you're like 2 hours into your session, and you, as a human being, you do not have the book memorized, and you're like, okay, let me no, and it's just like, okay, I'm gonna call a small bathroom break to read up on this next session. And you read, and it's the travel takes 4 days, and you're like, oh my god! And so you're like 2 hours into like a 3-hour session. You're like, hey guys, we're gonna have to call it here. It's just like, it's just, I
have
and
oh, go ahead, finish with that.
And then that's when you have the choice of, okay, do I just make up some BS right now, like on the fly, or do I just, okay, it's 4 days, whatever, just not take off 4 rations and whatnot, and like.
And I want to reemphasize something though. There's obviously solutions to all of these things. This is our bitching episode, okay? Yes. This is not about like how to fix these things.
No. This is just stuff that's like we'll send screenshots to each other with like the caption like, really? Underneath it.
Yeah. But yes, it's. This is gonna lead to another thing too. I'm just gonna go with one of my.
I feel like a lot of these points are gonna lead.
Hold on, because we just talked about like a half a year doing 4 days travel, right? This is gonna be to another thing that I've always. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I've started playing with 5e, but I feel like in other editions they were smaller adventures, there were like 20 pages adventures, official, TSR or Wizards of the Coast adventures that you can buy and run, which is how they came up. They came out with like Tales of the Yawning Portal, Salt Marsh, I think, but like Tomb of Horrors was there, the Bleeding Citadel.
I want to say Salt Marsh was actually released via their magazine. I could be wrong though.
Well, but you know what I mean? Like this, they took these small 20-page adventures, and put them all in one book. This is another one of my pet peeves. Like, why does every book they release has to be 300+ pages and cost $50?
When like the adventure is, well,
no. It's not necessarily about that. It's like it's always big campaigns. Here's a book. It's gonna take you 2 years to finish if your group is dedicated. And you're like,
oh man.
Well, and think about it. This is another thing that I thought about while I was thinking about this point. Think about somebody like Heather, for example, our other DM. She wants to run a short adventure. There's no official. And we told her, it's like, you can go to the guilds, DM guild, and buy like unofficial material that's really good. But she wanted to run Saltmarsh. Which Saltmarsh, for my understanding, is a set of smaller adventures.
Yeah, it's loosely connected set of smaller adventures.
Right. But for somebody who's a DM who wants to run just like really short adventures, wouldn't it be cool if like there was official Wizards of the Coast short adventures like you can buy for like $20? And it brings like, oh, it's just one dungeon, or it's like a small town adventure, and you can plop those into like your campaign if you want to, or at the end of it between big campaigns or something along those lines.
I think there is actually something like that, but I understand where you're coming from. Where it's just like, I don't want all of what's a Tales of the Yawning Portal. I just want White Plume Mountain.
Right.
Like I just want this. I don't want anything else.
Yeah. that was my sister.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Kristen.
Andrew just called you Kristen. Everybody tells us that they look alike. It's kind of weird.
But you get one. Like I completely understand, and I think the biggest culprit of this is probably we're going back to that old horse that we beat from time to time again, Dragon Heist.
Yeah,
where it was like all this stuff about Waterdeep, and here's the adventure here at the very end.
Which, don't get me wrong, it was awesome. That whole part about Waterdeep was amazing. But yes, the adventure was like 20 pages.
And I feel like the big reason for that is because a lot of these adventures, a lot of the adventures we've been running specifically take place in a different setting that's not in the Forgotten Realms mainly, except for Waterdeep, obviously. So a lot of this is like, okay, hey, let's catch up speed on what's going on. Like Avernus is its own thing.
Right.
Icewind Dale is its own thing. Barovia is its own thing.
Yeah.
Chult is different things. So we're like, okay, we're gonna catch you up to speed, and now here's the adventure.
Yeah.
So you kind of have like this weird like Oreo effect where it's like setting, source material, setting. Yeah. And
it's almost like they should release a Waterdeep book, and
or just like a settings guide in general.
That's true. Like, we don't have that, do we?
Yeah. No.
Sword Coast Adventurers Guide. Everybody. Raise your hand, all two of you that have it.
There's dozens of us. Dozens. But no, seriously, there is no book on just settings. Like the settings books are the adventures. But like, okay, what if I don't want... I mean, probably the closest example that we have of that now is Van Richten's.
Yeah.
But even then, like, we don't have anything about the elemental planes. We don't have anything about the rest of the Forgotten Realms. We don't have anything about... like any of it's like celestial planes. Like, God help you if like your adventure says, oh, they go to Mount Celestia.
Yeah.
Well, what the fuck does that mean? Extreme vagueness and details.
And the thing, and if you notice, like a lot of those, when you go online to look for information, is other people talking about old editions, and they put out books and like, oh, look for this book, and then you look for the book, it's like $150, and you're like, what? No, I don't want that. And then do you use the Wikipedia? Like, do you use those articles? What if your player is like, you give them some information, but they have another knowledge? Like, you know what I mean? Like, centralize it with 5e. There's so much. People are always like, ooh, what is 6e gonna come out? It's like, what? No, we're not even like halfway.
No, we're not even done with 5e. Yeah. 5e is still half baked. You know, like there needs to be a 5.5 if anything.
Let's not call it 5.5 though.
I don't see why not. I mean, no, because then that just means, hey, we could use the mechanics from 5e, but we just here's the patch notes.
Okay, fine.
But what's it? What's that new adventure coming up? Like Beyond the Witchlights or something like that?
Yes.
Anyways, the Witchlights one, like when you said, oh, it takes place in the Feywild, I'm like, well, there's our guide for the Feywild now, and I feel like that's what it's going to be. It's probably going to be a good third of it. It's going to be like, oh, hey, here's all the wacky shit that happens in the Feywild, and then the rest is going to be the actual adventure.
Yeah,
because that's kind of what it's been like. It's been like this weird like half and half.
Yeah,
like, oh, here's the guide, here's the adventure, here's the guide. I'm like, no, I just want. What if I want to make my own thing?
Yeah,
you know, like and that's like oh, I have an idea for an adventure in the elemental plane of fire. I don't know jack shit about it except there's a place called the City of Brass. Well,
yep. Here's the other thing too, and then you have to do like really deep research for that too, and you're like, oh, but is this official? Does it translate well to like what if like another adventures come around that actually deal with it, and then your players are like, wait, but last time
my only fear of if it's official is if someone like excuse me,
yeah,
that wasn't actually officially fuck you, all right, first of all, get out of my table.
It's official in my world.
Yeah.
But like honestly, like this leads to another one too, like you said earlier, we don't have a Forgotten Realms book. But you know what we have? Strixhaven or Guilds of Ravnica or whatever the hell the other Magic the Gathering one is.
Theros.
Theros. Hey, cool stuff. I have the books, you know. Cool stuff. I get it. Awesome. Great. Give us Dragonlance. Give us freaking Forgotten Realms, or give us, you know, the Black Sun or whatever is the other one called, Spelljammer.
Dark Sun.
Dark Sun. There was a comment. There was a post that Wizards of the Coast put on there. It's like, are you excited for which school are you gonna end up in Strixhaven? No, and like I commented, it's like, give us Spelljammers, you cowards. Oh no! It was for. Why is Wizards of the Coast doing a nerds crossover thing? Like the candy nerds. What is that? People were so baffled by it. They were like commenting like give us Dragonlance.
Like it's so bizarre to me because it's like, as far as I know, we haven't had this like weird crossover in any of the editions where it's like, oh hey, let's cross over this tabletop RPG with a card game.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah.
It would be like, oh, let's introduce Yu-Gi-Oh into Pokemon. Like, wait, hold on, stop.
Listen, I understand what they're doing. I really do understand it. It's all about that cash flow. But like, people who play Dungeons and Dragons are probably already playing Magic the Gathering. There's no like you need to cross them over or the other way around. You know what I mean? It's not like you're bringing like the Dungeons and Dragons movie that's coming out makes more sense because you're gonna bring together an even bigger audience. If
Jeremy Irons is not in that movie, I'm out.
I want Tom Hanks to be in that movie,
just
so he can redeem himself from Dark Dungeons.
I want
what am I doing here?
Wait, you mean Monsters and Mazes?
Oh, I was thinking of the other movie.
Yeah.
Monsters and Mazes.
I want Tom Hanks to role play as Jeremy Irons in that movie. No, they need to get Daniel Day-Lewis. They need to get Daniel Day-Lewis and play as
everything.
Play as a character who dies.
Yeah.
So then he has to role play another character. It would be the perfect thing because he would do it. He would pull it off.
Somebody commented on it. It's like anybody who plays a character in the Dungeons and Dragons movie and dies has to come back as another character, but like very obviously it's the same actor. There's no like makeup or anything.
It needs to be like Daniel Day-Lewis and Gary Oldman and all these other people. Like, holy crap, he was this guy. Like all these actors. Oh my god, I never realized this was the same dude.
Do you watch not Cloud Atlas?
Yeah,
you know how like they were all
I haven't seen it, but I know what it is. Where it's like
different timelines and they all play different characters, just like that. And then at the end of it, have like this actor played this and this and this and this, like with their pictures and like, wait,
and you're like, holy crap! What were we talking about? Oh yeah, anyways.
Things we don't like, settings.
So I think this is probably gonna be very.
I'm looking forward to the nerd settings. Okay. It's gonna be like
the nerds.
Oh, like the candy.
Yeah! Oh my god, I completely forgot about that. Like, okay, haha, we get it, nerds.
Yeah.
D&D. Okay, it's getting a bit cringy now.
Yeah, it is. That's the problem. I'm like, what are you
But
doing over there?
But it's like, I mean, I drew the line when we had Goodberry flavored Captain Crunch. So, and that was an actual thing. Wait, was it Captain Crunch? It was
No, it was Captain Crunch.
Pop Tarts.
It was Captain Crunch.
I thought it was Pop Tarts. Whatever.
There was a berries Captain Crunch, and I'm like, why?
Yeah. There was a Goodberry flavored something. I'm like, oh, okay, stop. but this might seem really biased because neither of us are Magic the Gathering players. But I feel like the Venn diagram that Wizard of the Coast thinks there is between Magic the Gathering and D&D is not as wide as they think it is.
Yeah.
Because almost every time I see an announcement for a Magic the Gathering based thing,
yeah,
in D&D, it's either met with indifference or just people going, okay, why? And there's a small percent of the people saying like, bring Spelljammer back, and that's me. I'm part of that 1%.
That's us just yelling. Ah!
Yeah.
I mean,
there's
they got us Eberron. Like, why is it so hard to bring in other stuff?
I've never seen people being like, oh, thank God we got Strixhaven. Jeez, I've been waiting forever for that. No, there's always people like, when are they gonna bring back Dragonlance?
Yeah, dude, people are dying for Dragonlance.
I mean, I understand,
Yeah.
and I get it because it's like what they want. It's so difficult to like transfer these old settings into a new edition. So it's just so much easier if they would just do it, but they need to get off their asses and do it.
And they have it there. It's all there. It's like remaking movies.
Yeah.
Just fucking change the numbers and make a pretty art. That's all you have to do.
It took 20 writers to write. It takes 4 days of travel.
4 days of travel. I just like your face. You were like, what?
Yeah. I was legitimately baffled. Like, oh, okay, we're just...
Especially,
all right.
Wait, is this for this adventure you're running for Rime of the Frost Maiden?
No.
Hold on, because that changes everything. Because, like, the whole point of Rime of the Frost Maiden is that there's a whole travel thing. Make it... Okay, I want to rewind a little bit because I wanted to talk about something. I know we're not talking about, like, how to fix it or whatever. But, like, this even affected Robert, or other DM friend. When we were doing a Prince of the Apocalypse. Out of the Abyss. Sorry, not Prince of the Apocalypse. Out of the Abyss. The first time we had to travel, he did it as the book said. And it was like, I'm telling you, it was like 3 checks every day. And 1 check, like, did another thing. Like, it brought the game down to a crawl. Crazy, like, super slow. Luckily for us, he did the whole thing. How do I make travel interesting in Out of the Abyss? And sure enough, he streamlined it into a bit more of like a little bit of storytelling mixed with whatever the result of the dice is. And instead of 3 dice per day, it's 1 dice per day. And based on, because it was, that's what it was. It was based on each one of the players, and each one of the players had to do 3 dice rolls each day. It was like some weird, we were doing like rolls for like 1 day. It was just like roll and roll and not roll. Can you imagine if like all those rolls started failing and each one of those failures was like a thing that happened?
Yes.
Traveling through a cave will take like freaking 2 years. Anyway, the point is that Robert streamlined it and it was like so much more enjoyable after that. Anyway, so that's the thing about travel. That it's but for Frost Maiden, which is all about like survival and being out there and stuff, travel takes 4 days seems a little bit of like understatement.
Like, what? So it's just like, okay, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. When you guys were like leaving the first city, Bryn Shander, I was like, all right, Andrew. You know, I was like, you got this. Like, let's get some improv going.
It's time.
Yeah. So, and I was like, all right, I can do this. I really had like built my confidence up.
Hey, bro. I know. We realized that we've been like 6 sessions in and we haven't even leveled up once. But we're loving it. Like, I don't know what it is. It's been a good pace so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, good. I'm not gonna reveal my secrets. It's cocaine.
All right, guys.
You guys want to fight some gnolls?
What's in the cave? Originally, nothing. All of a sudden, gnolls.
Yeah. just brimming with gnolls.
Oh man. Here's another one that we talked about plenty of times. Are you ready?
Okay.
Rulings, not rules.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No.
There's been so many times that, like, I'm not saying the game crawls to a standstill or anything, but it makes it a bit uncomfortable when, like, the rule is not clear enough and you as a DM have to make a call that is not favorable for the, what is my dog? I don't know what my dog's doing. It's not favorable to the player, but the player you can tell that they want to argue, but they don't because they respect you as a DM. It's because it's so vague, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and I understand.
No, keep going.
I understand why they did it again because 5e more streamlined, make a call, whatever. But sometimes we need that the hard set rules to guide the DM. Again, railroad the DM, don't railroad the players. So the DM then knows that this is exactly how it's supposed to happen, but it doesn't make sense for my game. So I'm gonna change this one step and just bring this one down. It can be like make it very what's the word I'm looking for? Not meticulate. Very detailed about the rules, and then you just change
meticulous.
that. Yeah, and then you change small things to make it more favorable or for your game or whatever. But don't make it like 4 days of travel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, don't give me the We appreciate like the streamline on like the difficulty stuff, difficulty checks and all that awesome stuff. But sometimes some of the rules need like very clear, very clear details. And I think, now that I think about it, they probably did it so like other rules can flow better with it as books come out.
And I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like it's like okay, what's it for navigating terrain that you're not aware of or like not familiar with? It's like, okay, make me a survival check, and it's like it's a binary, you fail or you don't. And so it's like, okay, so what if they succeed? You just, okay, you found the town. You travel for 8 hours and you found the town. And you're just like, all right. And like a very minor example was that moment when like when Beery was in the cave and she's like, hey, can I throw my trap? And I'm like, oh crap, okay, hold on, now I have to look up to see if it's something that can be thrown,
right,
or something. And so I kind of had to make up something on the fly because it says in the rule book it has to be set into the ground, and
right.
I say that in the session, like it has to be set into the ground. So I just make a rule up on the fly. And the opposite end of the spectrum is Starfinder. I'm not even kidding when I say like there are rules for how to deal with radiation poisoning from being exposed outside.
I want to play,
and it's like
Starfinder so bad.
And it's like there are rules for how to deal with like airlock exposure. There are rules for like dealing with like random sicknesses that you gather from alien planets. And again, that feeds into the whole railroad the DM. Give me so many rules that I'm like, whoa, because that shows me what I can do. And then I'm like, okay, okay, you know what? I can take this out, and the players will never know. I told Jose kind of jokingly, like, I'm going to slowly homebrew 5e back to 3.5 because I love the strictness of the rules because it showed me what you were capable of doing. Yeah. In terms of how to make your players' lives miserable.
And that's well, I don't think of that as that, but
that's another episode.
But that's like a thing too. When you said that the first time to me, I was like, oh wow, that makes sense. You're right, because for like new DMs, new players that come in, okay, it's great that it says you can do anything, but sometimes that many options freeze you because you don't know what you can do. And I had a player like that once who was like, I told her you can do anything, just tell me. She couldn't comprehend that. She wanted the board piece. She wanted the little like player card that tells you actions that you can do. Yeah. And at that moment I realized like, yes, okay, that makes total sense. Tell me all the rules of all the things that I can do so I know what I can do. Right. And because now that we have the philosophy of you can do anything, having these big rules just build up upon that instead of replacing, in my opinion. Yeah.
More rules just means more possibilities. Yeah. Because if for a brand new player, they're just gonna think, okay, I can just move and attack. That's it, because that's the most basic things. But they don't know, hey, I can use an item, or I can use the help action, or I can dodge, or
which is something we haven't even touched on any of our games recently. Which is like, can I pick up this stool and throw it at the guy? You know, or
Yeah.
can
Well,
this?
that'll be improvised action, but it's like, okay, hey, this guy is concentrating on a spell. Can I use my help action to be like, okay, you need to focus, like,
Right.
rub his shoulders so he can like concentrate further, you know, or something like that. Like there are so many actions that kind of fall by the wayside because the two main ones, like it's like this weird pie graph where it's like move and attack, and then you know, all the other ones are just like taking up like the 3% because nobody. It just like you know, like no one really uses them. You know,
and honestly, I think maybe with all the rules, then people won't read it.
But I mean, but that's kind of.
But
Yeah,
I know it's a double-edged sword. But if the DM, like us, for example, if we knew like very like an expanded set of rules, you know, like okay, so you would rhyme for the first meeting, for example, with your own personal rules that you've made for travel, you let us know that from the get-go. What happened? We instantly started thinking with those rules in the forefront of our minds. So every little thing that we didn't even touch before, we're like, oh crap, my backpack can't hold this. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, it wasn't like I was like coming up with those rules. I'm just like, no, we are going to incorporate these rules
right.
Because ever since then we've just been like, we don't need to worry about capacity. I can carry 3 chests of gold on my back.
Yeah.
and now people are like, oh no, this rations weigh a lot.
Can I have like a light ration?
Do I need and then that leads to interesting stuff like, oh, I don't need dark vision. I mean I don't need torches. I have dark vision, and so you just throw torches away. Yeah. So and that leads to a moment where guards like, oh, I can't hold 20 rations because that's 50 pounds. I'm like, oh no.
oh.
But I'm just saying, like, more rules provide more structure, which provides more possibilities.
Yeah.
And then that's up to the DM. Hey, do I want to incorporate these rules?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's gonna work for this campaign. Okay,
right.
Then I won't do that. Or hey, this rule seems really great. I'm gonna, yeah, why not? Like the one thing that really baffles me, especially with Rime of the Frost Maiden, is that it's like, oh, you have cold weather clothing. Okay, don't worry about cold weather. And I'm like, okay, well, what happens if like they lose their hat or their jacket or something? Like, oh no, they still got gloves. It's still technically cold weather.
So it's like a video game.
Yeah, and it's just and that's
it's like it's like Breath of the Wild. You just put your pants on, but you have like no shirt and no hat, but your pants it's enough to keep warm when you're in the mountain.
Right. Yeah. Hold on. I'm sorry. My dad's calling.
Yeah. No problem. We will be right back. And we're live back. Hello.
Okay, sorry. So in summation, more rules, more possibilities.
Yes.
More structure.
Yes.
And leave it up to the DM if they want to include that or not.
Yes.
So
here's another one of mine, and you know, you kind of sort of, but not really agree with me with this one. But I won high level adventures, damn it.
Yeah. I feel like that's going to be its own episode discussing high level adventures.
Listen, the new adventure that I was hoping was going to be like, you know, epic hand of Vecna turned out to be a freaking stupid ass carnival. Not really, I'm excited for that. But
stupid ass carnival that I'm going to really enjoy running.
Yeah, but I'm not complaining the whole time. But the thing is that it ends at level 8, and I'm just like, what?
Oh, it ends at level. That's actually a lot higher than I thought. I thought it was going to end at like level 5.
No, level 8.
Like oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's like I'm not even. And this thought occurred to me when I was talking about like the short adventures 20-page thing. How about high level adventures in like a 20-page format where you can plop at the end of any of your campaigns, which that deals with. You just finished Descent into Avernus and your characters are like whatever, you know, super majestical thing. It can start having like
majestical?
More... Yeah. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Okay. Did you also... Never mind.
But it starts dealing with like high level play, you know. It incorporates things that like, okay, your character's out. What are they going to be doing now? And then you can start implementing the things with like your castle, your people, who's following you, you know, your renown. And then it's like, oh, mind flayers are taking over this specific city. Go save it, you know, type situation. And then, I don't know. But it could be like a 20-page short adventure that takes your players from level 12, where you end up your campaign at, to, let's say, I don't even want level 20. Just, let's say, 17.
Just anything past 13.
Yeah, anything past 13. Just so
mean,
like they can taste the super powerful stuff, and it's your story page, and that's it. It can be played between big campaigns.
I feel like they should just have like the just get it out of the way sort of like, let's just have a fucking adventure that you start at 15th level. You know, like you guys, all you guys do is piss and moan. All right, so yeah, here you go, 15th level, and you have to fight literally all the gods, all of them. I mean, every single one of them.
It's just a big arena game. That's
yeah, and just all the gods just beat the crap out of it. No, I mean, I get it, but I feel. I feel like this is a bit more of a nuanced discussion than just Wizards of the Coast be like, okay. But I mean, I think the best way to solve this would be have an adventure that probably starts off somewhat lower level, like 3 to 5.
I say 5.
Like, somewhere.
I mean, let's be honest. Most adventures, like the actual bulk of the adventure, starts after the starter quest. What is a starter quest? Up to level 5.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some starter quests are 1 to 3, but yeah, no, I get where. I get what you're saying. Where it's just
now
like,
I know
okay,
what the starter quest for Run with the Frostmaiden ends at.
No, actually, I was actually referring to Curse of Strahd, where it's like Death Houses 1 to 3. I actually have no idea where.
I haven't read past this page.
You know what? Anything past page 16. It's all news to me. Travel takes 4 days.
I like to imagine that you flip the page and it's like a blank page that says travel takes 4 days.
That's it. It's just the travel takes 4 days. But no, so then you have an adventure that starts off relatively low, like 3 to 5 or something like that. But then it no extra BS about the setting. No, like, oh, so the city of no one gives a crap about the ins and outs of the city, because we already know this, because you have an established setting already.
Exactly.
Put it in Waterdeep or something.
Bring a Spelljammer, you cowards.
Bring a Spelljammer. Anyways, no. So you have it already in an established setting, so there's no extra fluff, and just have it be from 5 to 20. Boom, and just have like this epic, like overarching, like oh, we have to stop the coalition of dragons from destroying Waterdeep because they're pissed off that dragons doesn't like, or Waterdeep doesn't like dragons, and they're like, hey man, I thought we were past this. I don't know, but you know, just have something where it's like this huge epic adventure, and it's just an adventure. There's no worrying about settings, no worrying about what the currency is in this place or any of that, you know. Just pure 100%.
Yeah, just put reference Waterdeep if you have it.
Yeah, exactly. Just be like, oh, this information can be found in blah blah blah.
Wouldn't that be a cool thing? They don't have that.
And
rule references.
Just have a 300-page pure adventure, like start to finish, pure adventure, no extra BS.
Yeah, no, but
I totally get what you're saying. Where it's be like, oh hey, if you want to, you can interject this enemy from Volo's guide in here instead. You know.
No. I'm talking like, you know how like when you sometimes are in the adventure and they're like, they spend this whole thing like explain this whatever in a great box that you're probably not gonna use.
Yeah.
Maybe just mention and have like, you know, page 215 DMG.
Oh yeah, DMG.
So you can just like really quickly go to it and see the rules specific to that.
So that way, I'm not sitting here constantly putting bookmarks on the DMG.
Well, I mean, I think that'll be helpful, but you know what I mean. Like,
yeah,
you can reference to it really quickly.
Yeah, just be like, oh, okay, the travel pace is going to be blah 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 as per page yada yada in the DMG or something like that. Or hey, you know, make sure when they're buying equipment they yada yada in the PHP. Stuff like that. Is that going to be too difficult? Is that really going to be too damn difficult to do that? Oh my gosh.
Put reference pages numbers, please.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they act like the campaign book is the only book you have.
Yeah.
Where all the stat block, I mean, you know what I mean. But
yeah,
like,
I can understand. Again, we're just bitching here, but like I can understand why they do it. But also at this point, they should probably know that most people have Volos, most people have Cenithars. You know, like it's not just the Player's Handbook and DMG. In fact, I don't think a lot of people use the DMG enough. You know,
that's the problem. A lot of people kind of ignore the DMG in 5e, and it's like every time I look, I'm like, There is a rule for that there. but none of like the adventures reference the DMG. Like if they did that, it's like, hey, you can find this information, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we have to craft something. Oh, well, I just go to page 300 something or other in the DMG, you know?
Right.
So, I don't know.
Also, let's talk about, like, how the core books, like you said, need an update. Like, Monster Manual. We've talked about this briefly before, but we even experienced it while we were doing our Giants episode. There's a lot of stuff missing. And I don't know if I'm, like, a weird guy for not wanting to use, like, the Bestiary 5e Part 2 that apparently is an amazing book. I just haven't bought it. You know what I mean? Like the third, these books that people make. What is it? Third party books.
Like the fan made books.
Yeah, the fan made. But like it's a legit book. It's like nice and big, and it has like a bunch of monsters.
Right, but it's unofficial.
But it's unofficial, and like,
yeah.
When are we gonna get Monster Manual Part 2?
Yeah.
And while you're at it,
or a Monster Manual version 2.
Yeah. Or while you're at it, fix the damn Giants, god damn it. Amazing lore, really itty tiny stat block.
Huge lore, itty bitty stat block. But no, WebDM said it best, where they said anything after the letter D gets shafted in the Monster Manual, and it is so true. Because like once they're done with dragons, like, oh man, all right, we're just fucking phoning in for the rest of them.
I like to imagine that they were like working really hard on the dragons, like they're like putting all this effort into it, and then they're like, oh shit, we have to release this tomorrow morning.
Everything gets movement speed 30.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just like it's just. There are a ton of times where I've looked at a stat block for an adventure and I'm like, no, I gotta spruce this up somehow, or just interject my own thing. And like, it's like some of the worst ones are like some of the undead creatures, like the zombie. It's just like a bunch of hit points, low armor class, and it does one attack, and it's just like there's
a lot of monsters that do that, and I realized that, you know, just not even by looking at the monster manual, just by running all these adventures, that, like you said, a zombie. And I don't know if my memory is like betraying me right now, but a zombie doesn't even have like a bite turning you into a zombie type thing, right?
Nope. It just it has a slam attack. That is it.
Yeah.
It doesn't even bite you.
Like what?
Like the one thing a zombie does, it can't do that.
I remember there was one time, I can't remember what adventure it was, that you guys came across a bunch of skeletons, and you're like, oh, skeletons, and you just started making fun of it because you're like, oh, they probably sound like a xylophone.
Yeah.
Because like they're not threatening, like they're supposed to be scary, but they start looking like those like old school games that is like, it's a PNG of the skeleton. It's like,
well, I mean, skeletons are never scary. I'm sorry, but I mean, it's like they were so afraid to give their monsters teeth.
Yeah,
it's like it's to the point that's like, these are boring.
Yeah.
They are, and some of them are straight up boring.
Yeah.
Like I will never ever use zombies again because I realized it's like okay, if this says zombies, I'm using ghouls. I'm sorry. Because I use zombies for one session of like a separate adventure, and it was just like
I just feel like you said, like it's a good thing that they try to like accommodate everyone, which is great, because they accomplished that. They did. They brought a lot of people into the hobby. They brought a lot of people together that have been playing for 5-6 years now. We got that. Give us the mutated monster manual, like with all the crazy bulky stuff, and then like when your DM says, "Hey, we're gonna be using Monster Manual version 2," people are gonna be like, "Oh no," you know, and like perhaps make it easy in the sense that like, oh, you're gonna run an old adventure like Storm King's Thunder. You can replace any of those monsters, like the giants from Storm King's Thunder, replace them with the giant stats from the Monster Manual version 2. You know?
Which if they followed our suggestions on dynamic combat, would make things a lot more threatening.
Yeah.
Because suddenly that club hit's gonna send you sailing. But like, what's it? I'm gonna go back to it. I'm sorry.
Damn.
But if you go to Starfinder, if you go to the
or Pathfinder too, I mean.
No. Well, I'm not familiar with
Pathfinder
But
is a beefier version of 3.5.
oh no, I know, but I haven't read it, so I'm not familiar
Okay.
with the
Yeah,
exact thing
you've been...
I'm going to talk about. But if you go into like the Alien Archives, which is their monster manual, if you go into the Alien Archives of
Starfinder.
Starfinder, they have this is what the enemy is like. Here's the stat blocks, languages, and stuff like that. But then it also throws in strategies. Like
Yes.
this is what this enemy would do under certain things. And it's like the version of space goblins. It's like, oh, they like to keep their distance and fire away. But like once their numbers start to deplete, they'll probably,
Run away.
run away and stuff like that. And it's not like a big thing. It's just like a one sentence like deal. So that way it's like, okay, I know, like it's in the stat block. I know this now. And yes, the monster manual does say like what their personalities and stuff would be like. The green dragon likes to whisper secrets and be devious and stuff like that. But it doesn't say that in the stat block. And when the rubber meets the road and you're like, okay, I need to throw this green dragon in here real quick, it's not going to say like, oh, they're devious and cunning like in the stat block. It's just going to be like, oh, poison breath. So and I'm just a little bit of that little bit of extra thing would have been really nice to just like how a little bit more direction,
right? Well, it's there's flavor text, which a lot of those monsters have, but there's not a lot of tactical text. And I feel like a lot of the monsters that we have need text, which, to be fair, we do get in the adventures themselves. Like sometimes they put like, oh, there's this many monsters. If the captains go down, they run away, or if their numbers but that is fine and dandy. But we need that in the stat blogs for everything, not just for that one specific encounter at the fetch quest in the middle of the book. No, we just if they standardize it, like you said, 2 sentences. 2 sentences. That it was like, oh, when there's more than these many, they attack from range and then trying to flank, or like, oh, they try to use this attack first, and then they telepathically talk to their whatever and try to flank. Apparently, I like to flank. Yeah. But just tactical text that is not flavor. It's just what they would do. That will help us tremendously, because I fall into the trap sometimes that I run goblins. I'm sorry, I run pub goblins like goblins, which is a huge difference there.
Very much a big difference.
Yeah, and that's a small example, but I've done it for other monsters too that are very similar, and I'm like, that's great. Players don't realize it. Players don't even care. They're just killing things. It's awesome. It's fun, but it will add so much more variety and fun to the game if there was like that little bit of tactical text under each one of the stat blocks, in my opinion.
And it can honestly, if you want to go like even further, like granular, it could be something that's like, oh, hey, here's a list of monster behaviors to reference, and then be like cowardly, like
right.
like, oh, once the battle goes against them, they're gonna run away, and then or be like devious and like some arrogant and stuff like that, and just have it be like, okay, red dragon, and be like behavior arrogant, so that way, boom, exactly how to run this monster, just quick references won't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
and that way I feel like 5e is a bit too streamlined.
Yeah.
Where it's like, here is just the stat blocks and stuff. And that kind of leads into like another, speaking of stat blocks, that kind of leads into another one of my argument points. And we're probably going to have to start cutting this short because we're already like an hour and a half in. But this might just be me because I brought it up with you and you're kind of lukewarm to the idea. But I always, it always kind of grinds my gears when they introduce a character that has this big mean stat block, but we have to be nice to the players because we can't kill them immediately off the bat. and it's like yours was like Harshnag, the frost giant.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, frost giants are evil. why wasn't this a fight to the death? And my personal one was the lich that you guys met in Curse of Straw, where it's like the Lich isn't gonna kill anybody because haha, we can't have the CR-18 wiping out this party of 9th level. And I'm like, why not? It's a Lich. I was like, it should be like the moment they see a Lich, just like just death ray shooting out of its hand. It's just like why can't you have like some sort of other contrivance where like the Lich is like trapped in crystal, like, oh no,
Oh,
like,
right.
I could show you around, but I can't do anything. Like, why? Like, why is it up to me to like make this guy not threatening?
Because
I probably should have killed Vesemir. Just be like, okay, just finger of death. All right, anybody else? Anybody else want to?
They drag Vesemir out.
Yeah. Anybody else want to yank this chain? See what happens.
See, but then we wouldn't have that moment, Andrew.
Yeah, just power word kill, just on Vesemir, just die. You see what happens when you piss me off. But I mean, but it's just like there are so many times that I've seen like in an adventure or something like that, or just off where it's like, oh no, here's a CR-20 monster, but they're friendly.
Yeah.
And
Which,
it's like, no.
Yeah, which that Vesemir thing that kind of like made me remember one of your points, which has anyone ever killed a player character above level 5?
Anyone at all? Because it's so hard to kill people with 5e. It's like okay. So
to kill him fairly or like interesting, not just like
that. Yeah, that to make it feel like you're not gunning just for that person. where the player's like, okay, what did I do to you, man? I'm sorry. Okay,
whatever it is, we can work it out.
Yeah, can we please talk about it? We don't have to hash this out on the table. We can just I could just like DM you on Messenger or something like that. But no, it's like it's really difficult to kill a player and make it like, especially in 5e, to make it seem like, oh, that's just the roll of the dice. I'm sorry.
Right. Was there ever a moment like that in Avernus? I can't remember. I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, no.
After level 3, we were unstoppable killing machines. Well, I mean, there was that part with the Sturges, but that was like, oh, we did this to ourselves.
You fucked up, yeah.
Yeah. But it wasn't like we were like, okay, good game out there.
Yeah.
No, but like, yeah, just unstoppable killing machines after level 5, and it's like, do you realize how much crap I threw at you guys at the end of Curse of Strahd? I'm like, why won't you die?
I see everything.
No! Yeah, and the book was working against me. Where it's like, they're gonna be even more powerful.
Yeah.
Like, no.
The book was probably like, they're probably not stupid enough to touch all the stones. Meanwhile, Vesemir's like, what is this? What is that? What is this? What is that?
Like, yeah, and no, the whole party was like playing the fucking bongos on the stones. They're like, what does this do? And it's like all these powers
And they were
like,
like, you were like,
morphing at one time.
We were like, I remember
Super muscular wings.
We were like going like, wait, do I want this one? No, I want to try it with this. we were like,
Nah,
we were like shopping around after a while.
And like the ancient elder got inside, like, okay, well, I mean, I'm not offended by that, whatever. You know? You mean you don't want this ability to summon a hellhound once? What are you talking about?
Oh, that sounds. I remember. Didn't we have that for a second? And then like the next
one
was like,
and then Howard's like, I don't want this anymore. And like came back to the stone with like a receipt.
Yeah. I want to return this. It's gonna suck. We just found True Sight on the other room.
Non-refundable returns. No.
Oh man.
Yeah, I found a better one. Can I get this back?
You don't have to give me the money back. Just take it. Yes.
It's the 25 string stone, isn't it? I always lose my sales to the 25 string stone.
Well, it's not my fault. You freaking give me one hound.
Yeah, one hellhound, and I get to use it one time. Whereas this bad boy,
look at these guns.
My eyeballs have muscle.
Oh man. Whew. Anything else, Andrew?
That book was the big bad evil guy to me. We're just like, stop giving him stuff. Just stop. And then there that was like a moment where it's like, I probably should just limit it to one.
To be fair, though, up to that point, we were just like so scared of everything. So that was kind of like a big payoff for all of us.
That was the point. You were supposed to be scared. It's a horror campaign.
We almost died like 3 times trying to get to the stone.
I mean, I do have some more stuff to bitch about, but I think a lot of it just kind of falls to the wayside. We got the big stuff out of the way. And anybody else wants to hear my whining, just make sure to tune into any of our live streams.
we have a dungeon master encounter. I mean, what is it? A dungeon master despair counter.
Yeah, after this, it's all just complaining about Roll20. So.
Yeah, that'll be another episode. We swear we're not running out of ideas.
No, I actually had to like trim down my list. I'm like, okay, this is getting a little too specific. Like, no one's gonna understand where I'm coming from with this.
Just you. Okay, cool. Andrew, it's time for our favorite segment of the episode.
News.
Session highlight. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Session highlights. So for all you guys that joined us just now, we have a segment called Session Highlights, where we talk about our favorite parts in our current campaign that we're playing, which is Rime of the Frost Maiden, DM'd by Andrew over here. There.
It'd be funny if on the live stream I'm on the opposite end.
Andrew over here.
Yeah. No, wait.
So Andrew, any session highlights from last time?
So we didn't have a session last Wednesday because of reasons.
Yes.
Adult responsibilities.
Andrew's dying. Here's a Patreon. Here's a GoFundMe, but we're not going to use it for him. We're just going to...
Yeah, here's a GoFundMe to put my consciousness into a cyborg so I can continue this campaign.
You're not going to leave us until you finish the damn game.
and turns out the Rime of the Frost Maiden was the friends he made along the way.
What? Wake him up! That can't be
it! Anyways... Jesus Christ.
Anyway, terrible people.
But the session before that, it was day 3 in this cave. By the way.
Was it really?
It was day 3. This cave was a off the cuff, like, oh hey, you guys find a cave. And you spent 3 sessions in this cave. You did. You actually spent 3 sessions in a cave. Anyways, that's fine. Half of the adventure so far has been in one random location.
Nothing wrong with it.
No, actually, no, it's great. I love it. So there were 2 kind of cool things. Well, no, there was one kind of cool thing that happened. Oh, man, there's actually a lot of cool shit that happened in the last session. So the minor highlight, I guess, would be when you guys, or when the orcs stumbled upon you guys.
Oh, yeah.
And for the first time in a Talk of Opportunity history, we resolved combat in a non-violent manner where nobody died. Nobody, not even the enemies died. We all just walked away.
You're welcome, Andrew. I made it happen.
And we resolved our differences with a firm handshake and a, you know what, we'll have to do this again sometime.
You want to describe what happened?
Yeah. Okay. So these orcs stumble upon the cave that the adventurers are camping in, and I believe this was on Beery's watch, and they come in, and what's it? I explained that Octavio has a nightmare, and then we go into the Whisper channel. Yeah, and I'm not going to disclose what the nightmare was about.
I mean, they can watch it.
Yeah, shut up. But I'm not going to disclose what it was about. But Octavio wakes up from the nightmare to hear the clanging sounds of battle. No, actually, no, I forgot. Beery set a bear trap and it closed on one of the orc's legs, and it's just like there's a moment of silence, and then the cave is filled with screams. And then that's what we're yeah. And like there's that moment was him breathing in to let that yell out. And so I described like, oh yeah, no, the screaming and the bear trap shutting wakes up the rest of the crew. And so these orcs are like, they're winning. They actually are winning. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I know everyone was like, oh, we got some good hits in, right? No, they were kicking your asses.
That's why I changed my strategy.
And then so Jose's like, oh god, we're gonna fucking die here, aren't we? So then he pulls out the stone that he's had on his character since session 0. This was the thing that he had. And he's like, look, I have the stone.
Wait. It wasn't like that. It was okay. So just to give you my thought process here, I was gonna wait another round, because I wanted to get like a spell in. And then realized what was happening. But then fucking, I think Beery took like some massive, like it was going.
She took like 11 points of damage.
Yeah,
like
and then
it almost brought her down.
And then it was starting to describe, like I moved my token and I saw like a line of orcs waiting to like take a hit on Beery. And that's when I changed my strategy, which was take the stone and just run towards the orcs. I got the stone! Because my character is a, immature kid.
Yeah. And you're like, guys, I have the stone. And it's like, oh, and all the orcs are like, stop. No, actually, I describe as one orc is like, stop. It's just like, it's like this commanding voice, and this orc, like Eye of Grumsh comes up, and he's just like, for some reason, everyone respects him, even Beer. I totally expected Beery to like try to take a swing at him. But Beery's like, nope, okay, but this is not my fight anymore. and just like, and so now this Eye of Grumsh is like grilling you, like, why do you have this stone? And you're like, I got it from picking off a dead guy. No, you describe how you got the stone and whatnot, and it kind of like naturally created this quest line for you. And then you're like, and then the guy's like, maybe you guys aren't so bad after all. Well, I guess we'll be leaving now.
I just remember when I was like, I got this stone. I saw your brain just like pause and like smoke.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, just, okay, fuck.
Honestly, I thought that's what you were leaning with, bro. Like with the dream and the stone, I was like, oh, he's playing. I'm gonna play off of what he's laying down. Apparently,
I actually no. The orcs was all down to the roll the dice. But I was like, okay, wait, no, I can work with this.
So now the group at that point like got like a secondary, like a respect for Octavio that they didn't have before, because Octavio for somehow like stumbling through this whole adventure, he saved them twice already, just by mistake. Honestly, pure chance.
So then that happened, and so then you guys were finally able to take an actual rest for once, and you make it to the town of Goodmead, and there's things happening in the town. Their town killer was, their town killer. Their town speaker was killed by
his name is Bob. The camera pants is this guy with a knife. Hell,
he's covered in blood. Hey. Anyways, and like slick with blood, like not just like a little bit, like head to toe. Anyways, but and so like the town speaker died for some mysterious circumstances. People can't seem to pinpoint what. And so then you guys go to a place called the Mead Hall, and it's like this whole like bee-centric thing, and Octavio's like, hey, is there a gift shop here? And I'm like, sure. And then anyways, so you're like buying supplies and whatnot, and Barry just off the cuff just says, man, we need to start making more money. We're running out of funds. And you're like, what are you talking about? I'm a Cadenas. Like, I'll get money. I'm just waiting on the check to go through. And like the group starts questioning, like, when was the last time your parents spoke to you and stuff like that. And it starts opening up all this stuff, and like Octavio's like, oh no, I haven't had any correspondence with my family since I've been here. And I want to say it was Beery, but it could have been Mittens on Hands. Gar wasn't here for this. Howard couldn't make it to the last session, but it was one of the two that was like, Octavio, I think they just dumped you here. Like, I think they just got rid of you. And, like, you got sad and, like, walked away. And you described it as, Octavio's going to go on the pier and start crying now. He just needs to be alone.
Yeah, I just need some alone time right now, guys. See you later.
And we were all like, oh, poor Octavio.
He started realizing the actual, like, what just actually happened. Like, his fantasy of his family sending him money and coming to pick him up and, like, everything being fine just, like, shattered in that moment.
Nope. It just the real world, just he caught the poverty.
Yeah.
And the real world just kind of started falling on him like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
When he realized, oh, I've been cut off. and so you're out in this pier, and Barry and Mittens are like, okay, we're gonna go look for a place to sleep. And to my surprise, Swift, played by Robert, who hates you, like he's like Swift's character. Oh, hold on, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Sorry, they're here. Yeah,
We're gonna do the be right back to finish the story later on. So we will be right back if this thing
Okay, so the Octavio is on the pier and he's crying. Like, I imagine it's probably not like, like ugly cry, but he's just like,
yeah, he's
like,
just
like putting on a brave face. And here comes Swift, who, like I said before, hates Octavio. Like he or not he, sorry, they. My apologies. I'm still learning. Anyways. But they were the ones alongside Beery that came up with the whole, like, oh,
you're gonna eat him.
We're gonna eat Octavio. and so then Swift comes over to Octavio and just has like a legitimate, like, 20-minute long heart to heart with Octavio. It says, like, hey, I was also abandoned as a child.
Which I didn't know, by the way. That was like news to me. That's awesome.
Yeah. And so we have this moment where I legitimately just sit back and just watch you guys just riff off of each other. And everyone is just watching. And for the first, again, this is another first in the Talk of Opportunity history. There were no cracks. There were no jokes. This was a actual pure role play, like 100% capital R, capital P role playing moment.
Yeah.
Where you guys were just, hey, this is our characters, this is our motivations, and even like Swift was like kind of uncomfortable talking about their feelings, and Octavio was like, we're gonna be best friends someday, and Swift's like, don't count on it. And it was like a legitimate, touching, sweet moment. And the best part about it is so far, it's had really good feedback. like everyone was talking about, like, whoa, like and it just kind of shows we can do this. We can have these moments in our
I feel like we leveled up as a group there in that moment.
We leveled up as people.
That part right there at the end, like, I think what I like too was I don't know why I said it, but my character was like, when I'm back in my Cadenas family, you're gonna be my bodyguard. Like, I still have the hope that my family is gonna take me back. That
actually, that line, for some reason, it made me like get a little misty eyed. I'm like, oh, this guy is so fucking naive. Like, he's like, it's like that painful, like, watching a kid say, like, I'm gonna be an astronaut when I grow up. Like, oh, but they defunded NASA.
Right. Then we might not even have a planet by then.
It's just like this, like, no, I don't want to say painful, but it's like, oh, you're so innocent in this, like, awful environment. and so it's like, no, that's okay.
I mean, that was actually gonna be like my highlight too, because, like, I don't think I've ever had a moment before. Like, you and I, when we played before together, we'd riffed off of each other, or as a DM player as well. But it's always more like, how to describe it?
A lot of it is joking. A lot of it's just jokes.
Yeah, we just take the situation to, like, insane extremities.
And then beat the crap out of the joke. Yes, I know, Heather, we do that. Welcome to the fold.
But, like, Swift just came along, and it was awkward. Like, don't get me, I was cringing. Like, I was awkward in my inner me. I was like, I don't know how to, like, proceed with this. But Robert
I feel like a lot of that was okay. Actual RP muscles are flexing.
Yeah.
Like so.
But Robert coming into our group, who he told us that his group is like 90% roleplay, 10% beating the shit out of things. Like so, like he has all this experience, and it allowed me to like you said, flex my role playing muscles for the first time. You know, and that's why I ended up with like a light-hearted joke of like, hey, you know, I have all this face cream, I'll do wonders for your skin type situation, which made the situation a little bit more light. But like, it was such an awesome moment of like pure improvised character development, and I told you from the get-go that I didn't want to plan anything for Octavio. So far, everything that's happened, I have not planned. I haven't even given it any thought as to, because Andrew asked me specifically, oh, what do you want your character to do, to be, to go to, you know? I'm not going to reveal everything.
And you're just like, just let it happen.
Yeah, I have some ideas, some big pictures, like, oh, whatever.
Right.
And I'm not going to reveal that kind of stuff because I don't want anybody to be influenced by that. But like I understand, like, I was just like, just let it happen. I don't care. You know, I know what my character is right now. I do not want to plan what it's going to be at the end of the adventure. I just wanted it to be. And this was such a like perfect key moment with Swift and Octavio that I'm like, this is gonna this just gave me so much fuel for opportunities later on down the campaign. You know what I mean? This is like that moment that like the little green text appears, like Swift will remember this, like type. You know what I mean? From Fallout.
This is going to be the catalyst for a moment where one of you is holding the other weepingly while the other dies in your arms.
Yeah, and I texted Andrew, like, Andrew, if you kill me, I will be okay with that because there's such a like weight to it now. You know what I mean? It's not just like, oh, he died, make another character. It's like, oh my god, Octavio, the little kid, is dying. Type situation.
But I think what was really great about this moment was that it kind of opened the door to like, okay, this is the kind of campaign that I'm going with because I don't want to be like, oh ha ha ha, I pulled the strings for this to happen. But it's like I felt like my inaction was like also approval. Yeah. Where it's like where I'm like, okay, haha, they're having this conversation. Let's cut back to Barry and Mittens. Okay, fun romp adventures. Like no. Yeah. Do it. Like let's have this dialogue. You know. That's and I think this kind of really nailed home like this, and along with the actions of the past couple sessions, like we are going for a much smaller zoom in version of the campaigns that we have been playing. So,
and I'm super excited. I really hope that this really opened the door for anybody to just, even if it's just a little bit of roleplay, to come into the table. And like, Robert, if you're listening, like, I think that you're an excellent fit in our group, in the sense that you're bringing experience that we've done the crazy adventure, we've done the killed 100 enemies, we've done like the jokes and everything else, but we haven't really done a lot of role playing, very little bits here and there. But we haven't, I know he does voices, he does all this stuff, but like honestly, like we haven't spoken as our characters to other players.
And the role playing we have done is like 70% comedic.
Yeah. Which is like, great. I love it. That's why I love the group.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. It does make it fun, but it's like, oh, Vesemir is curious about stuff, and it's like, okay, he's not curious, he's annoying. Yeah. Like, it's just like he keeps slapping crap and stressing other people out. You know. But it's like, but it's just like I just love it because it really granulized and really slowed everything down. It's like this is happening.
Yeah, it was in like a tiny town's pier over a frozen lake. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh, at the end of a big fight on top of a tower, you know, while a dragon spills its guts around us or whatever. Like, it was just like this nice intimate moment where like we both had huge character development naturally. It was great. Like, I think about it, it gives me chills. It was awesome. And it's like, so people are probably like listening to this and they're like, wait, you guys don't roleplay? It's called role-playing games. Like, no, we do really roleplay. Don't. No, we do, but it's not. It's we roleplay in the sense that like this is what my character will do, and I know that phrase sounds terrible. It's not like, oh, this is what my character would do. No, it's like we do like, oh, my character's gonna do this. We roleplay in that sense. We're comfortable with that, but we haven't taken the next step to really diving into our characters and talking to each other that way.
The way we have been role playing has been more like mechanical based, where it's like, oh yeah, my character would activate this trap because he's curious to what traps do. But it's not like, oh, my character has a fear of the dark, and that's why even though he has dark vision, he carries torches, you know, or something like that.
Right.
And so I'm not saying I expect this moment from everybody. I really don't. I know some people are not comfortable with the more lesbian parts of the role playing, but this was like this was exactly what I was going for. Yeah, and I'm just like, I was like, oh, it's happening. Yeah. I'm witnessing the miracle of life. Miracle of life. And it's like I kind of have things planned out, and I want there to be. And I even told the players, this is going to be more character focused. Yeah. Like I'm not making the focus more on the story. Like, this is not going to be the big bad's tale. Like, this is going to be your guys' story. Right. You know, and I wanted that. So. Yeah.
Well, we played out really nicely so far. So. Yeah. Yeah. And, like, you know, it reminded me, and I know you got that feel, too, from that part in Avernus with the sword and all that stuff. But even then, like, the role-playing that happened there was, like you said, mechanical role-playing. It wasn't, like a heartfelt, like an actual natural, you know, I don't want to say natural, because the mechanical stuff is also natural. What am I looking for? I'm looking for
like the sword. The sword was like, okay, well, Quintessence can't get the sword because she's not a fighter, right? You know, the gnome can't get the sword because that'd be goofy. Yeah. You know, so it naturally comes down to these three martial characters. Yeah. And so there were moments in that, but it's like that was like the end of the campaign. Right.
And this is like, we're getting these moments from the get-go, so I can't even imagine what it's going to build up to. You know,
it's this is be awesome. The beginning of the campaign, and we're already getting these like, all right, let's just have a talk, man.
Yeah, we're still level 1.
Because I think you were right when you said we leveled up as players. Yeah. Because it's like, okay, what if we took that, and it has been building up through the campaigns, like, okay, let's take this moment and expand upon it more and more and more.
I feel like every campaign we've just been getting better and better.
Yeah, and we are getting we are becoming better players, both combat and role playing wise, and that's great. That's awesome. You know, you even said it. We had a straight up like critical role moment. Yeah. And you're like, yeah, we did. And that's
yeah.
You know?
And we're not professionals. Like, we're not like, I was like weirded out. Like, oh my God. Yeah. But now I'm uncomfortable. I'm willing to go there.
Yeah. And it's like, I know not everyone's going to be cool with it. I was honestly kind of worried that like people would be like, oh no, we're going to become that group. But like I said, the feedback, the reception has been a lot warmer than I expected it to be. So I'm like, sweet, all right, cool.
Well, it's this whole campaign that's been I think, dude, I don't want to take like all credit for it or anything. I don't want to be like, you know, you're shit or nothing, but like, you're shit, Andrew.
I mean, because you are. Don't worry.
Because you are. But no. I think what helped this, honestly, was the round table at the end of Avernus. Mm-hmm. We both realized, like, oh my God, there is a need, or not a need. There's a want for this type of slow down, smaller, granular moments.
And I was already like I approached Icewind Dale with like, okay, I'm gonna slow things down. Yeah. But then I was like, oh no, what if everyone doesn't like that? But then at the round table, when people were like, yeah, you know, we could have had more like character building moments, I'm like,
you got affirmation.
Perfect. Let's do this. Yep. And they're like, yeah, I get that confirmation. I'm just like, yes.
Yep. Exactly. So I can't wait. I know I joked that saying that we haven't even started with when you said that you wanted the round table, but like I want the round table for this campaign already.
Yeah. Oh man.
It's gonna be great.
I can't wait for it to be a huge disappointment halfway through the campaign. I'm only saying that to cover my ass just in case it is. So I hope not, but you never know.
So let me tell you about my session highlights from that session. There were, well, you covered the big one, but there were other ones too. The one where it was Mitten's turn to
Yes! I was I wanted to include that one, but I didn't want to reveal too much of my end.
Right, so we wanted to. We're taking a long rest, but we're doing the actual shift and everything, And first of all,
which by the way, the long rest part was like Octavia's like, I don't have to take a turn, do I? I'm like, well, you wouldn't if Gar was here, but he's not, so you are. You're like, oh, damn it.
Yeah. So there was like a moment. First of all, there was a moment when Octavia was in taking a shift out by the mouth of the cave, and Andrew described like lights or sounds or whatever. It wasn't even like scary. It was more like magical and whimsical. And Octavia's like, nope, I ain't even go close to that. He just like backs. Anyways, but that wasn't even the big thing. The other one was when it was Mitten's turn to take a watch. And you started describing the moment where, like, what was it? It was you described it as like a tiny creature comes in and into the cave, and then you roll to see if the tiny creature sees Mittens. I know what the tiny creature is because I'm a DM, and I'm like, oh my god, these guys they're so cute, right?
Yeah.
Alex,
well, I tried to make it intimidating at first, like, oh, huge shadow, little tiny guy.
Yeah. And I think I'm pretty sure that Alex and Heather know what the creature is because they were part of Tomb of Annihilation as well.
Right.
So when you put up the pictures, like, oh, we know what this is. But the fact that Mittens or Alex
freaked out.
Yeah. He was like a cat with a cucumber. He was just like jumped to like the top of the cave, trying to hide from this thing.
He actually described Andrew, I have a climbing speed, so can I like freak out and climb to the corner of them? I'm like, yeah, sure, man, I guess.
And then like he was completely freaked out. The little creature sees him, and he manifests a berry and gives it to him,
which is actually what's it? Mittens rolled really high for his stealth check.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, there's no way he's gonna. Oh, natural 20. Never mind. I guess he does see you. And even Alex is like, wait, what?
Yeah. So he gives them a berry, and the whole time was just like, all the players were like, oh, you're gonna eat the berry? Are you gonna eat the berry? And Andrew's like, are you gonna eat the berry? And he's like, no, I'm not gonna touch that. And I was already preparing to the fact that if he arrived to the cave, like with the berry on his hand, and Octavia saw that, he would have just like, gloop, like eaten it. Like, yeah. But the fact that he freaked out so much, it was so good. It was so great. He like role played really well. It was again, the episodes are available on YouTube if you want to jump there and watch it. My second part was after the Orc Stone. The orc shift or whatever, the Eye of Groom like explains what it is, blah 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 blah. This moment they depart, and then we're sitting there, and Octavius just holding it in his hand, and all the players outside of character is like, oh, you're gonna attune to it? Are you gonna attune to it? It's a magical item. And I'm like, nope. Octavio looks at it and just puts it in his pocket. He's like, oh wow, that's a very lucky stone, and puts it in his pocket.
And then everyone's like, what the actual fuck are you doing? Everybody, and especially me, was like, no, okay, hold on, stop.
Because so for my character, while he is a sorcerer, he's never had to use his power. Everything that's happened so far is new to him. All the spells he's used is new to him. Everything is new to him. So he doesn't know.
I think you described it to me as like he didn't even know he was magical.
Yeah.
He just thought he was dumped off an Icewind Dale for some reason.
Yeah, and like, he doesn't know what a magical item is. He wouldn't know, really. And it's described that in order to attune to it, you have to focus on the item for, I forgot, long rest. I don't know what it was.
It's either or,
right.
Short or long rest.
So it's like
you have to focus.
Right, so it's like an actively thing. It's like somebody who knows that's a magical item, attuned to it. Octavio doesn't know that. He's just a stone that some guy gave him because they gave him a gold, which, by the way, gave him a gold to a homeless orc. It's like, oof.
Yeah.
And for him, it's just something, it's kind of like, well, I don't know, if you give $20 to a homeless man and he gives you like a rock. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Oh, cool. He just doesn't know that it's, and even though the Eye of Grunge made it sound like it was this insane stone of whatever, he was still like, oh, cool, it's a really lucky stone. It saved me. And he puts it in his pocket.
Yeah, to be fair, the Eye of Grumsh is like, this is a magic item. You must use your long or short rest to attune to it.
He didn't say that. No. So I'm like really leaning into that, and everybody hates it. They're like, what does it do? I know what it does, but as a player, but I'm not attuned to it. And the looks that everybody gave me, the dagger eyes, I'm like, what, guys? The character doesn't know what it is. Even Andrew.
And to be fair, we don't have a wizard in the group.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, well, I read this in a book somewhere. You know, it's like that might come back to bite you in the ass.
It's okay.
I'm just saying.
It's okay. I'm just looking. Honestly, I'm looking for like a good excuse moment to know, that maybe I should attune to it, or I feel magic or whatever. I don't know, whatever it is. But it's not like the orders respected it, so now I'm gonna focus on it because my character at the moment just wanted to sleep. That's all he wanted to do.
And while you were sleeping, you kind of drooled on it. Now you're attuned to it.
But yeah, that was a good moment. Obviously, the part with Swift was a great moment for Octavio. Man, there was a lot of that happened that session. I'm trying to think of. I think there was another moment too.
And then you guys find out that the only place to sleep in town is like the shitty lodging house. and everyone's first thought was, oh no, Octavio's gonna hate this.
Oh, when he's in the cave and he's like, so where's the next we're gonna sleep, where's the tavern?
And everyone's like, what are you talking about? And Mitten's already like
oh man, but yes, that was session highlights, unless you have something else, Andrew.
That was like the whole damn session.
It was a good session.
It was actually a really good session. It was hitting on all six. So
now let's move to the news segment of our episode.
Oh man,
we have quite a few. There was the G4 Live thing with D&D that happened. They released a bunch of books. So we're gonna go through the books first, real quick. The first one that is most intriguing, honestly, is Fizban's Treasury of Dragons. For what I understand,
did they go into detail what that is?
Yes. So they introduced Gem Dragons to 5th edition, so they're coming. And I think everybody knew that when they saw it. Yeah. Reveals the story of the first world and the role Bahamut and Tiamat played in its creation and destruction, which is awesome. Adds new player character options, including unique draconic ancestries for Dragonborn, dragon-themed subclasses for monk, rangers, and new feat and spell options.
Holy shit!
Yeah, offers everything a dungeon master needs to craft adventures inspired by dragons across the world of D&D, with new dragon layers, maps, details up to 20 different kinds of dragons.
Ooh,
nice.
Oh, that'd be really awesome.
Yeah,
to have like dragon-specific layers.
Yeah.
It'd be like, oh, this is a black dragon. It's like, oh my god!
Turn the page!
No.
Turn the page!
No! This is for kids.
And then it presents a complete dragon bestiary and introduces a variety of new dragons and dragon-related creatures, including aspects of the dragon gods, dragon minions, and more. So those are the
please let us have hybrid dragons back, please.
I mean,
I just want the napalm dragon. I don't even care about the other one.
I mean, the arc is looking phenomenal for all this stuff, so I'm pretty excited. I know you said you hated the alternate cover for it, or you didn't hate it, but you weren't like as blown away by it.
I wasn't wowed by it.
But now I'm looking at like the higher resolution of it, like not the shitty screenshot somebody got from my leak. I'm actually kind of digging it now.
I think it's just like the font choice and stuff. It's just like
it is. Yeah, I can see that. I'm still gonna get it though. It's gonna be worth something.
I know you are. So that way you could sell it for $500 in the future.
No, I never done that,
Yes.
dude. First of all, Valos is going for like $900 right now, and I'm like, I can really use that money, but I'm like, no. Nope.
Just saying, man. Rent's coming up.
Nope.
Rent's almost due.
Yeah. The next one. Wait, did we already talk about Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft? Yeah, we did.
We did.
Yeah,
we touched on it a little bit.
Yeah. The big one, obviously, is the wild beyond the Witchlight, which is.
I thought you were gonna talk about Strixhaven. That's the one everyone's been clamoring for.
No.
Oh, okay.
They reveal more of it.
No, fuck.
So, explore the plains of the fairy. In the first official D&D adventure set primarily in the Feywild, the adventure begins on a campaign world of the DM's choice, the Witchlight Carnival, which serves as the means by which the characters enter the Feywild, can be dropped easily into any campaign setting. Adds 2 new characters' backgrounds: the Fey Lost, a character who grew up in the Feywild, and the Witchlight Hand, a character who worked at the Witchlight Carnival. Introduces 2 races. Play as a fairy or as a Herongon.
Oh no.
A race of humanoid rabbits.
Oh, not a fairy. No.
All encounters in the adventure include non-combat options, allowing players to think and roleplay their way through the adventure if they wish. Classic 1980s.
That's actually cool. I respect that part.
Yeah. Classic 1980s Dungeons & Dragons character returns, including Warduke, Strongheart, and Kellic. Don't know any of those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Something wicked this way comes. A wickedly whimsical adventure of the world's greatest role-playing game. And I believe it's, levels 1 through 8.
So I'm kind of hoping this is going to sound mean. I'm sorry. But I'm kind of hoping this is more like, hey, this is a guide to the Feywild with an adventure thrown at the end. Instead of it being like, here's an adventure and there's like a little bit of a guide to the Feywild. Because we have a somewhat more proper guide to the Shadowfell, but we don't have anything for the Feywild.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
it's, like,
it's 1 through 8, so it may be that.
Or maybe just like, or like even like a half and half. It doesn't have to be like a 60-40 split, but like if it's like a half and half thing, that'd be great, you know. So that way you can have stuff to build off of for the Feywild. That being said, I really do like the fact that they are including non-violent options.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
the Feywild doesn't strike me as a place where you're like, okay, we have to fight our way out.
Right.
You know, like I imagine it'd be more like trickery and mischief and haha, someone stole my shadow kind of a, you know.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Honestly, I think at the pace that we are going right now with Realm of the Frost Maiden, we might actually skip this one and jump to whatever the next one is.
You think so?
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, because it's gonna take, obviously it's gonna take a while, but maybe the spring book for next year will be something epic. You know.
Or it could be something like the Sword Coast Adventures guys.
We never know with wizards. The next thing they released or they announced was the Witchlight Carnival dice set. 11 premium. It's like the other ones that come, you know, the little boxes. Durable felt lined box, a beautiful illustrated double-sided player-friendly fold-out map, 19 double-sided preference cards. You know, the dice obviously they're cool. I guess they're neon orange with blue or purple. Yeah, not a big fan, but I'm still gonna buy it.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about the dice, unfortunately.
Yeah, and then the other thing is the Dungeon Master screen for the Dungeons depth. So we had a Wilderness one, and now we have a Dungeons depth Dungeon Master kit. You know, the one
Dungeons,
kit.
Dungeons depth.
Yeah, depth.
Oh, because I thought you said kit. I thought you were saying death.
Death.
Like dungeon death.
Yes.
Like, how many ways can you die in a dungeon? Well,
let's find out. No, yeah. So now we have the dungeon one. Delve into the dungeon's depth. DM screen specifically designed with dungeon delving. Features 36 punch-out dungeons, geomorph cards with pathways, connections, whatever. Customizable double-sided dry erase sheets offer unlimited versatility for tactical gameplay. 18 illustrated punch-out condition cards, including mold and slime cards for dungeons encounters. 9 punch-out number and illustrated initiative cards, so easily track the blah blah blah. So it's like the Wilderness one, which by the way I need to get because this stuff is awesome. But yes, those are and then the one the redheaded stepchild is Strixhaven, a curriculum of chaos. The School of Magic is in session. Another Magic the Gathering thing that I don't know anything about. I wish we could like interview Robert about this kind of stuff. But my understanding on this is it's kind of like Hogwarts. But
I mean, I'm kind of cool with the idea that it's like a college adventure or
right.
like a school-based like academic adventure.
Right. So we have,
you know.
Yeah. Let me go over the points, the selling points for this. So it's, through the book's multi-layer campaign, players begin as first-year students who study, socialize, and adventure their way through graduation. Experience D&D in new ways through the academic challenges, extracurricular activities, and jobs, and relationships explored on campus. Includes 4 adventures that can be played as standalones or woven together to create a campaign taking players from level 1 through 10. Players can create characters using a new race presented in the book, an owlin, one of the owl folk who study in the university. Adds new player characters options, including feats and backgrounds. Include new spells and magic items that help your character feel connected to the college they choose to join. There's a different houses type thing. Encounter over 40 magical and mysterious creatures and NPCs in the bestiary. Strixhaven can easily be dropped into a D&D world campaign. Blah, blah, blah. So it's, yeah.
you have to go take the final exam with 2 levels of exhaustion because you were up all night studying.
I mean, yeah, pretty much what it is.
and then you have to make an intelligence check to maintain to like retain how much you crammed the night before.
I'm honestly really interested to see how they do like the whole college. At first, when I sent you the news, the comic book, comicbook.com article. It was like Dungeons and Dragons novels. Oh, that's the wrong one. The one that was like, it's gonna take us to prom.
College,
yeah. And at first we were like, I don't know how we feel about that. Oh, D&D's Strixhaven campaign has mechanics for what a hot mess college life can be.
I think that'd be neat.
That'd be a change
really
of pace for sure.
To be like, oh man, I got my scholarships and stuff like that.
I don't have good enough grades to keep my scholarship. My mom's gonna kill me.
Yeah, I don't want to go back to the farm.
And I mean, again, maybe we should have an episode specifically with Magic the Gathering or Magic the Gathering plus D&D with Robert.
We should once we run out of ideas.
No, I'm serious because I honestly don't know anything about Magic the Gathering. I think he will like enlighten us. We already have Theros, Guilds, Ravnica, and this one, Strixhaven, right? Am I missing one?
I want to say we have another one, but I could be wrong because I don't remember them.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the Theros one, in my opinion, was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I like the Theros one only because it's Greek mythology based. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's.
I just feel like that effort could be put into Spelljammer. Damn it!
Give us Dark Sun.
Do it. No, I think that's it. I don't see the other ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Guild Master Guides to Ravnica was the first one that they came up with.
And then there was Theros, and now it's Strixhaven.
Yeah, Strixhaven. Cool.
But it's just like the first time was like, oh, okay, that's a weird choice, and then the second time was like, oh,
yeah.
And the third time was like, oh.
I honestly hope that they're not gonna be. You know how like, oh, the Magic ones are making more money, so therefore we're gonna do all Magic the Gathering stuff. I know.
It's just the thing that really gets to me about it is like, oh, we're gonna be announcing 4 more books this year. I'm like, okay, how many of those are gonna be Magic the Gathering?
Right.
Because I'm instantly discounting those off. I'm not gonna get those. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah. So do you have anything else? I think that's all the time we have today.
I think that's all the time we got.
Awesome. So thank you everybody that joined us. We had 1.10 viewers, so that's pretty nice. I hope you had a good time. Listen to us bitch and moan about the stuff we don't like about
about the really petty crap. That,
yeah.
It's really not that bad, but hey,
yeah.
Whatever. We could have easily fixed it, but
I don't wanna.
I worked overtime this week. Why do I have to do it?
Yeah, I'm paying money, so it's fixed already.
Yeah.
Yeah. But make sure to join us weekly on Wednesdays unless something happens on our live streams. We are currently playing Rime of the Frost Maiden. We are 6 sessions in, I believe.
We're currently suffering through Rime of the Frost Maiden.
Suffering.
We are starving.
It's bearable. Please join us. Also, make sure to check out all of our episodes. We have pretty interesting stuff, including an episode specific about giants and how much their stat block sucks, but their lore is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where we're like, okay, cool, giant lore. And okay, in the stat blocks.
But yes, you can find us on Apple. I was going to say Apple TV. Apple Podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you listen to I think we're in Google too. Everywhere, really. I don't know. I just throw a link. Oh, new podcast episode. Just throw the link in there. Follow us on Facebook. Make sure to leave us a review if you liked what you are listening to. Leave us a comment.
What you didn't like.
Yeah, don't be too harsh though. I have a Friday.
Tell us what you want to hear about next.
Yes,
we're really open to ideas.
Yes, and tell us
starting
about
to run out of gas. No, I'm kidding.
And tell us what other things that you don't like about D&D. Leave your comments below. Make sure to follow us on all the Spotify platforms.
What I don't like about D&D, these 2 jackasses.
Let's start with you guys.
We're doing our best.
We're trying really hard. Thank you guys. I hope you'll have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and make sure to join us on Wednesday for a live play of Frost. All right, bye. Bye. I can't talk. I need to tell you something. I was like, how can I tell you to start recording?
You could have talked like that.
Start recording.
You just did.
I still have to get my tea and everything. I've already started recording the video, not the episode.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just gonna be a minute of us doing our best Teddy Roosevelt impersonation. It's gonna take a lot more than that to cover. If you're gonna aim for the king, you better shoot to kill.
That is something that he would say too.